Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again. Yes, it is Saturday morning. Well, here in the DMV, we're going to have a heat wave this weekend going into next week. And I'm trying to be out here early this morning. Trying to be out here, trying to get this grass cut. I'm going to show you what I'm dealing with right here in a minute because I have a pretty massive backyard. So, yeah, it's going to be in the hundreds. And I'm trying to get out here and mow this grass before it get too hot out here. It's already starting to heat up. It's already 80-something degrees. So I got the dog out here. She's running around right now. So yeah. So real quick, y'all, we've had a crazy off season. Not crazy in the sense of things happening that we didn't expect, but more of guys that are not here anymore. Things of that nature. The complexion of this team is totally different right now, for the simple fact that we lost two big people on this team that's been here for a long time that we didn't know. We didn't know this was going to happen. Nobody knew when the season ended that. I mean, we speculated that Dez could have been released, or Dez could have been not with the team anymore, or he could have just walked off. We didn't know what was going to happen, but the simple fact that they actually did release him, when it happened, a lot of people were shocked. Some people didn't care. Some people are upset. I mean, it's so many different emotions, but I love it because of the simple fact that the Cowboys base, everybody has different opinions. Nobody thinks the same. That's the awesome part of the fact that us fans, we have our own opinions. Just like with us vloggers and bloggers out here doing this YouTube thing. I have my different opinion. My guys have their different opinion. Everybody that has their channel has their different opinion. Now, I respect everybody's opinion, but let's just make sense about it, because at the end of the day, when you start spewing things that don't make sense, then we all look like dummies. So that's why I'm here to basically, I give my perspective also on what I think that the team will do in a way that makes sense. Now, realistically, what I think is not always what the team will think, which of course is because I'm not a player, I'm not a coach, but I do know the game of football, and I do have a understanding of how things work on that level and what teams normally do. Now, when the Jason Witten retirement came out, I think we were still in Texas for the draft when that news came out, when it first came out. It's funny because we were at the draft. It was me, Foots, Michael Anthony Fitness, and I think the Stinking Giants fan. We were walking to the stadium, and we actually seen Jason Witten drive by going into the stadium. I think he had some type of, the dog's crazy. I think he had some type of fundraiser he was doing, so that was cool. I didn't get a chance to get his autograph, but some of the guys that were at the tailgate with us, it was funny because the dude had a Jason Witten jersey on. I forget what fan it was. If you follow my channel, I know you probably remember this, but we were at the tailgate. He walked up to me. He was like, "Yo, E2." He was like, "Yeah, I got Jason Witten. I just seen him. He signed my jersey." And I was like, "Oh, I literally just missed him because I saw him drive past." And because he was in I think he has like an all blacked out Suburban or something like that, a Tahoe, something like that. But he drove past, and I was like, wow. I was like, is that Jason Witten? It was crazy, but you know, it is what it is. But the whole complexion of this team is different. You look at from Jason Witten retiring, Dez Bryant being gone, Orlando Scandrick being asked to be released, the acquisitions that we got in the offseason. Coney Ely, he got signed, and people forgot that he got signed because he got under the radar because so many things happened right after that. It was like, everybody was like, oh, the Cowboys ain't going to do nothing in free agency. We're just going to be here and not do anything, and all the other teams are making moves. But one thing you guys know, that the Cowboys don't make big splashes in free agency. They just don't believe in that. They believe in getting little fish and players that can provide depth. Now, we did get lucky this offseason. Again, that's remain to be seen because training camp is still coming up in a couple of weeks at the end of July. It's now the last day of June, so 4th of July is coming next week. I'm looking forward to that because I only work 2 days next week, so I'm going to be loving that. But yeah, with the Coney Ely signing, then getting Josh Thomas, the linebacker that used to play for the Packers. Eric Pinkins. Two linebackers that most likely will be playing special teams for us and spot play on defense. Now, because we did draft Leighton Vander Esch, I think you got your three guys right there. Now, Leighton Vander Esch, I don't know if he's going to start right off the bat, but definitely if Leighton Vander Esch comes in and he plays well off the bat, that's going to help Sean Lee out tremendously, to the point that Sean Lee can actually stay healthy for a season, guys, because that's the important thing. If he can stay, I mean, this will be big. If he can actually stay healthy for a whole season, I mean, sky's the limits for this defense. But I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, so those two linebackers we got. We lost Keith Smith. We lost Kyle Wilbur. Both of them are going to the Raiders. Now, it's not surprising that they went to the Raiders because the Raiders have our old special teams coordinator, which I loved him. But the thing about it is, those two guys were like his pet cats. He loved those guys. Now, we lost our fullback. 2 days later, we acquired Jamaze Olawale, and I just did a video on him, if you guys seen that. You know, a little bit about what he could bring to the table, which is a lot. If this team does what they're supposed to do and utilize him similar to what the Raiders did, oh, we can have endless opportunities to fool the defenses this year. Like, I mean, I'm excited about that. I'm glad that we got him. He definitely fills not only that fullback role, but he also can come in and do spot duty as running back. You can throw it out in the flat to him. But like I said, just go watch that video. I went in more in depth than that. So Jamaze Olawale that we acquired from the Raiders, and I think we gave them like a fifth round pick for that. We traded Ryan Switzer. All that happened while we were in Texas too at the draft, and it was crazy because again, I was walking back to the RV from the stadium getting my Cowboys gear, and the Michael Abner Fitness runs up. He's like, "Yo, did you just hear?" I was like, "Yeah, it popped up on my phone that Ryan Switzer got traded to the Raiders." At first, I was like, "No, who's going to be our punt returner?" And at first I felt so bad for Ryan Switzer because I felt like he didn't get a chance to grow into this offense. He even said himself in the interview, you guys probably already know, if you didn't hear, he basically said in a nutshell, I felt like the team didn't utilize me for what I can do. They were trying to make me a gadget player, which I am not. If you watch college tape, if you've seen him at North Carolina, you know that they used him mainly in the offense. Like, yes, he did punt and kick return, but also he was a wide receiver. They threw him the ball deep, and he caught that thing and he ran because he's a quick little shifty little guy. Now, and I don't know if the Cowboys didn't know what to do with him because we already have Cole Beasley. I don't know what the issue is with that, but all I do know is that we had an opportunity to do some things with him, but they just chose not to utilize him in the offense. Like, I think he only had 10 catches in the season, but he did get I don't know if it was a kick return or I think it was a punt return that he got for a touchdown towards the end of the season. So, I mean, that was a thing. He also muffed the punt. But, you know, rookie mistakes, you know what I mean? Like, but I thought the Cowboys didn't allow him to grow his confidence. One thing about rookies when they come into the league that you guys have to understand that confidence factor has to be there. If coaches do not give them the confidence that they need, sometimes it stunts them a little bit. You got to understand like this. Whatever that you are good at in life, whatever that you try, whether it's a sport, whether it's an extracurricular activity, whatever it is, you start out playing and you're nervous your first time doing it, especially if it's an organized team event, whatever that you're doing, whether that's bowling, playing basketball, football, hockey, swimming, whatever it is that you do, you're going to be nervous the first time doing it. Especially at a different level. Like, everybody thinks just because these guys are football players, again, the collegiate level is totally different than the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, the NFL is faster paced. You got bigger guys. It is what it is. Me doing Arena League one year, it's way different than Arena League. So it's different. It's each different level of football that you play is different. It has its own different aspects that you have to get used to. Sometimes the rules are different, and in a lot of ways, that's the main thing. So these guys have to learn the rules of the NFL, and you already know how the NFL is. They keep changing the rules every season. I mean, you could go into a game with a different rule change or something like that. But I mean, again, that's what the CBA is for, to get these players to understand what's going on, and for the benefit of the health of the players, and make sure that they don't have CTE or any other type of ailments later on in life. So I mean, crazy. So yeah, I just feel like with all the changes and stuff like that, I think that a lot of people question, stop eating that grass. A lot of players, a lot of people think that, okay, are we a better team now? What are we going to do? I look at it like this. I'm going to withhold judgment on that until we actually see some preseason games and training camp and seeing these guys in actual pads and going at it. But I will say right now that I am optimistic about what we have, because we do have talent. We did acquire talent. Like I was saying, we did lose Ryan Switzer, but we did gain Jihad Ward. We got that in the trade with him. I think reports said that Jihad Ward was actually doing well, and he was actually giving these offensive linemen fits, not only the rookie, but some of our veterans too. So that's kind of a good thing, because you look at it like this. If he's giving our Pro Bowlers a little bit of a trouble, just imagine what he can do with a lot of these other teams that don't have as good as the offensive line as the Cowboys does. So that's big. And that's something to hang your hat on right there. So, like I said, Tavon Austin, that was another one that happened while we were at the draft. It happened during the draft, late in the draft. We lose Ryan Switzer. Everybody's like, okay, so what are we going to do? So we go ahead and get Tavon Austin, trading a 6th-round pick with the Rams. We acquire him. Now, Tavon Austin is clearly still a fast player. He was a 1st-round draft pick back when he was drafted by the Rams to begin with. He didn't fulfill what a 1st-round pick would over the years, but also, to his credit, I don't think the Rams also utilized him the way that they could. Again, sometimes it's a scheme thing. A guy gets drafted, or a guy comes to a team and he's not a good fit because their scheme and what the coaches want is different than the skills of that individual player, if you understand what I'm saying. So because of that, that's why you see a lot of players, when they go to other teams, they end up being better because the scheme is better. Perfect example with us, when we had Terrell McClain. He came from the Texans. He was okay, but he wasn't great. We came to us. I heard a lot of you guys saying, this is before I even started my YouTube channel, because I'm still new technically. But the thing about it is, when we got Terrell McClain, everybody was like, oh, he's a bum. Why we get him? He comes to us and he actually does something. He was actually a pretty decent defensive tackle. I mean, you know, getting 40 tackles at that position is hard. You know what I mean? Because you're taking on blocks. You're right there. You're right in between the guard and the center. So I mean, the thing about it is this. Then he goes to the Redskins and he does absolutely nothing. We already know, because we all talked about this before. A lot of our players that go to the Redskins, they don't even bust a grape, and then their career is over. Jason Hatcher, he had those 11 sacks for us that year, and then the next year, nothing. So I don't know if that's going to happen with Orlando Scandrick, but at this point, I don't care, because he's not with the team anymore. Good riddance. So, again, I'm optimistic about what we got right now, especially with these new acquisitions and seeing the mesh. Again, we're going to be really good on offense, but let me hit defense for a second. Now, as you know, Randy Gregory applied for reinstatement. He is now, I think that word might come out what his fate is closer to training camp time, hopefully that week. That way he could come in here and do something for us. Now, David Irving has a 4-game suspension. Again, our defensive line has been a laughingstock of the, our defense in general has been a laughingstock of the offseason, because for 5 years straight, we've had a guy on the 4-game suspension. So because of that reason, people are always going to talk. But again, that's why we got to come in here this season and prove everybody wrong, and prove to them that, hey, this team is something to be reckoned with. Because they already got the Cowboys not winning the NFC title. for some reason they got the Giants ahead of us just because they got Saquon Barkley and Will Hernandez. Okay. Those are both great players, but you need more than that. Their offensive line is still in shambles. They still need people to protect Eli Manning. And she's rolling around the grass. Coco. Yeah, so enough about them. Back to us. So with us now, hopefully Randy Gregory come here and training camp, he can catch up, because again, you know, you could work out all day by yourself, but football shape is different than being in regular shape. That's another thing that guys have to understand. You can be swole, you could be in shape, you could have no stomach, whatever the case may be. I've always been a stocky dude. You know, my upper body has always been like on point. Like, you know, that's one thing I do love about myself, is the fact that, you know, but I'm always doing push-ups and stuff like that. But me personally, I'm in the process of a career change right now, but I'm not going to speak on that because I'm going to let it happen. When it happens, I'll let you guys know. Hopefully what I'm working on right now happens, and I'm just praying on that. But, you know, that's a whole nother topic. But again, like, football shape is different than regular shape, because you still got to play the game. You still have to do the drills and stuff. So even if Randy Gregory comes in here, it's still going to probably take him a little time to catch up with the rest of the team. But I think that if Randy Gregory comes in here, that's going to be crazy for David Irving, because with that 4-game suspension, he literally just got himself to a point where he's going to be the odd man out if he doesn't come in here and do something. Now, the Cowboys are most likely frustrated with him. I know the fan base is frustrated with him. I seen you guys' comments on my channel about when I did the David Irving thing about the suspension. A lot of you guys want him to go, and hey, I don't blame you for saying that, because in my mind, sometimes I say the same thing. But again, let's not be so quick to cut a player, because you have to think about other aspects of it too, because it sucks. Because in my mind, I'm like, God, he's still a good player. When he's in there, he does get sacks. He does get to the quarterback. I call David Irving the defensive, basically the Green Bay Crusher. That's what I call him. So every time he plays Green Bay, he gets multiple sacks, or he's getting tackles, or he's just in there just wreaking havoc. Now, that's the David Irving that I want to see. But hopefully we can see that. Unfortunately, we won't see it until week 5. But it is what, I don't know when our bye week is. I got to go look at the schedule again. I think it's like week 6 or something like that. But yeah, so another big thing too that a lot of people have glazed over is this secondary. Now, we've talked a little bit about in this offseason about Chris Richard's impact on this defense coming from Seattle to here. And people saying potentially bringing the Legion of Boom from Seattle to here. Now, again, you got to have the personnel for that too. Now, I'm not saying that we don't, but I'm saying that the good thing is Chris Richard is saying he's speaking highly on the guys that we already have on this roster that he wasn't here to see. So, which is cool, because he sings the praises about Jordan Lewis. He sings the praises about Chidobe Awuzie. You look at my frat brother, Kayvon Frazier. He's getting up there. He's a hard hitting guy, like I was when I played. Now you look at Byron Jones. He came in and moved Byron Jones from safety back to cornerback. Now I think that he's going to do better at the cornerback position, and he seems to be happier there, because he basically said in the interview in the offseason that, hey, this is my natural position. This is where I want to be. Okay, and that's all that. That's because if the player's happy, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna do well. Look at Lyle Collins. He basically came out and said that he wanted to stay at that right tackle spot. I don't think there's anybody on this roster, or anybody period. He's even more happy than the fans that we got Connor Williams, because he was like, oh, Connor Williams they're gonna plug him in at the left side, the left guard position. Okay, he gonna be left guard. All right, so I'm gonna stay here right at right tackle, and I'm gonna do my thing, and I'm gonna keep pancaking. I'm gonna IHOP it. I don't care that IHOP changed their name to IHOB. I think that's stupid. It's gonna always be IHOP to me. International House of Crushing Them Pancakes. That's what your boy Lyle Collins is, and he gonna do well. I think that Tyron Smith, I think they need to ease him in because he's still dealing with that shoulder and back issue. So, allow him to get right. So by the time season starts, that offensive line, I mean, Zeke is going to eat. He's going to be so fat eating. So, looking at the running backs, I mean, him, Rod Smith, if Darius Jackson makes this team, still got Bo Scarborough to figure out what your role is for him, whether he's a practice squad guy or if he even makes a 53-man roster. And then you got your fullback, Jameis Olawale, like I just said. I mean, the boy is a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all. So, I mean, I'm just excited. But again, I'm sorry for rambling. But back to the, I'm just so excited. It's just so many options right now. But back to this secondary. I think that this defense as a whole is going to be better because if your back end can, well, first of all, if your defensive linemen are doing their job of rushing the quarterback can't even get the ball off. But they work hand in hand because if your cornerbacks and safety are covering their men, and the quarterback is scared to throw the ball at that person because he think he might intercept it, then that actually helps the linemen because they can come and then Marcus Lawrence can feast on these quarterbacks and whoever else that we have out there that's going to be on this line that's wreaking havoc. And I'm just loving the potential that we have right now. And I look at potential. If you work potential could end up being great, and that's a wonderful thing. That's always a good thing. Now with these young guys that we have, they are scrappy, they are hungry, and most importantly, they have the attitude for a winning recipe. And to me, that defies all. When you have the attitude, when you have the right attitude, and your players are meshing and gelling together, and these guys seem like they love each other. You guys follow their Twitter accounts. You guys follow their IGs. You look at how they're tweeting about each other. Look at how they're hanging out with each other outside of football. Now, that is a wonderful thing. And I look at that like I get at a hand clap because some players on certain teams, some of them don't even like their, because every player is different. They have different musical likes and dislikes. I mean, some of them are married, some of them are single, so they have different levels in their life. Some are older, some are younger. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But but the fact of the matter that they're gelling, I'm loving that. I'm loving it. I'm loving how Dak is with his receivers. I'm loving how these DBs are with each other, and look to see these young guys doing something. Chidobe Awuzie. Now, when he's in the game, I don't know if you guys really noticed, and even with his injuries and stuff, like the games that he did play, I think the Cowboys were like 4-2 in the games that he played, and he does make a difference. And under the tutelage of Chris Richard and Marinelli as well, I think these guys are definitely going to learn much more. You got another offseason. You have another chance. And these guys are healthy right now. They're actually going to go into training camp actually being able to do the drills and do what they need to do so they can hone their craft and be better. Again, your rookie year, you're out there and you're not as confident. But your sophomore year, they always talk about this nightmarish sophomore slump, whatever it is. But everybody doesn't go through that. But you got to look at it like this. If you know what you're doing, the game slows down. I'm going to say it again. If you know what you're doing, the game slows down. Because the thing about it is, when you're playing football, it's a mindset. If you know the plays, you know what you're doing, and you're an instinctive player, you know where to go. There's no question. You can do that. You can backpedal. You can side to side. You can do the things without thinking about it. And you can actually think of other things in the game. That's why players like Sean Lee excel. That's why players like Luke Kuechly excel. That's why players like Bobby Wagner excel, because they're so good at what they do. They know the game so well and they study so well that only thing that they have to think about is where that offensive player is going, whether it's the running back, whether it's the wide receiver, or whether it's the quarterback scrambling out of the pocket, and I'm going to go get him. So, with those factors, they are able to not think about what they're doing, but more so of getting to stop that offensive player. And that, hey, by all means, that right there is the key to being a great player. And in my opinion, especially being a person that knows the game, you know what I mean, that have played football before, I've played basketball, I've played on both organized teams, you know, being a sports guy, that is something that helps you because you're not thinking all the way around. That's why these rookies come in and make mistakes. And that's why preseason is there. You make your mistakes and you learn and you don't do it again. And you figure it out and you get it. All the greats have made mistakes. Nobody's perfect, you know what I mean? Things happen. It is what it is. That's just because just as good as you are, that person on the other end of the field, they get paid to stop you, or vice versa. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, Chidobe Awuzie, I think that if these guys stay healthy, they're going to be good. Jordan Lewis, Xavier Woods, Kayvon Frazier, like I'm just looking at these young guys and I'm like, you know, your second and third year guys, come in here, do what you got to do, make the Cowboys better. And I think that's all I got right now. Training camp's coming, like I said, coming up in a few weeks. We'll get ready to go into July, y'all. I mean, this summer, I feel like it just started, but it's also feeling like it's going so fast. My birthday is coming up next month, so we're probably gonna have a big shindig here for my birthday. I'm probably gonna have the guys over. I think for my birthday party, just real quick, I think that probably gonna do like a big live show because I'm gonna have, you know, some other Cowboy fans on. So I think that I got a plan for what I want to do. I think it's gonna be awesome. So yeah, with that being said, I need to go out here and mow this grass before, because I forgot what I actually came out here to do because I was out here talking to you guys. But just real quick, you know, I got to cut all that. Then I got to come on this side and cut all that. You see how high that is? Yeah, I got some work ahead of me, so I'm about to be out here sweating it up. And hey, guess what? Since it's hot, always got to have your water, guys. Coco's got her water. We all good. So I will actually be at Mark Holmes' house later on this evening. We're gonna hang out and stuff, and probably gonna do a live show. So look out for that. I know you guys already follow Mark, so as soon as he gets live, you guys are gonna be on. But yeah, I'll be at his house. So some of you guys that wanted to see me on his show again, I'll be there with him today. So that'll be awesome. Can't wait for that. So yeah, with that being said, y'all, that's all I got for you today. So hope you guys have a great weekend. And if I don't talk to you, a great 4th of July. I'll be doing videos before then, but whatever. Hey, like, share, comment. Thanks again to all my subscribers that already subscribe. I appreciate all your support. It definitely helps me out. And this is your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Talk to y'all soon. Have a great day.